Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Polyglot Nook. It's wonderful to have you here with me today. We often celebrate the incredible gifts that language learning gives us, the new worlds it opens up, the friendships it forges, the way it reshapes our minds. But today, I want to explore something a little different, a topic that's more personal, a little more nuanced. I want to talk about the unexpected challenges that come with knowing multiple languages, the quiet struggles that often go unmentioned. I have a dear friend named Emma. She's a brilliant, kind-hearted person who has a remarkable gift for languages. Her native language is Italian, and she also speaks fluent English and Chinese. She has spent years of her life immersed in these different cultures, these different ways of thinking and speaking. And she told me about the mental and emotional reality of living with so many languages inside your head, a story that many of us can relate to, even if we've only learned a second language. The first thing Emma talked about was what she calls the linguistic traffic jam. She said it's a constant, low-level hum in the back of her mind. Imagine your brain is a busy city, and each language is a different road. When you only have one or two roads, traffic flows smoothly. But when you have three, especially with different rules and structures, things can get a little messy. Words from one language might pop up when she's speaking another. She might be having a conversation in English, and a Chinese word that perfectly captures her feeling will flash into her mind, but she can't use it. Or even worse, she'll be looking for a simple word, and her brain will offer it in all three languages at once, like a menu of options, and she has to choose the right one all in a split second. It's like a tiny, internal negotiation that happens hundreds of times a day. Then there's the feeling of language fatigue. Emma told me that switching between languages is a mental workout. It's not just a matter of changing vocabulary, it's a complete shift in her cognitive process. When she's at work, for example, she might be talking to a colleague in English, then answer a phone call in Chinese, and then send an email in Italian. By the end of the day, her brain feels like it has run a marathon. It's a deep kind of tiredness that goes beyond just being sleepy, it's the exhaustion of constantly engaging in high-level mental acrobatics. And sometimes, this fatigue can make her feel clumsy, like she's fumbling for words even in her native Italian. This brings us to a really interesting point that Emma made about identity and authenticity. She said that she often feels like a different version of herself in each language. The jokes she makes in Italian don't quite land in English. The way she expresses her feelings in Chinese, with its specific cultural nuances, can't be directly translated. So, she feels like she's presenting a different Emma to her friends and family in each country. It's not that she's being fake, it's just that her personality is filtered through the lens of each language and culture. This can lead to a quiet, underlying sense of fragmentation. She said, "Sometimes I feel like no one person really knows all of me, because I've never been able to be all of me in one conversation." And with that comes what she describes as loneliness in a crowd. Emma told me that it's wonderful to have friends all over the world, people from different walks of life, but it's also challenging. When she's with her Italian friends, she can't share a funny story from her life in China because the cultural context and humor are completely different. She has a separate collection of jokes, memories, and references for each language, and it's almost impossible to bridge that gap. It's a feeling that she's connected to many people, but never fully connected to one group in a way that includes her whole story, a sense of being an outsider everywhere, even when you're deeply loved and accepted. Another point Emma brought up was the pressure from others. When people find out she speaks three languages, they immediately have certain expectations. They assume she's a flawless human translator, that she knows every slang word, every dialect, and that she never makes a mistake. Of course, that's not true. She's human. She makes mistakes, she forgets words, and sometimes she struggles to find the right way to say something. When that happens, people can look at her with surprise, as if she has failed some unspoken test. It's a lot of pressure to live up to, and it can make a person feel insecure, even when they are incredibly skilled. Emma also mentioned the struggle to relax. When you're fluent in a language that's not your native tongue, your brain is always in a state of high alert. It's constantly listening, analyzing, and processing. She can't just listen to a podcast in English and let it wash over her. Her brain automatically breaks down the sentences, picks up on new phrases, and compares grammatical structures. She even finds herself doing this with her friends. Sometimes, in the middle of a fun conversation, her brain will get distracted by a new idiom or a specific way of phrasing something. It's a constant, low-level mental labor that makes it hard to just be in the moment and enjoy the simple pleasure of talking. And then there's the unique issue of contextual expertise. Emma explained that her knowledge is not uniform across her languages. For example, because she studied in Italy, her Italian vocabulary for literature and philosophy is extensive. She can discuss complex theories and ideas with ease. But if she had to have that same conversation in Chinese, she would feel limited. She might know the general concepts, but she wouldn't have the specific terminology. The same goes for her English. As a programmer, her technical vocabulary is very strong, but her knowledge of art history would be much weaker. It's a fragmented feeling, a sense of having a deep understanding of a topic but being unable to fully express it in the wrong language. Finally, Emma talked about the feeling of insecurity, even after all this time. Despite her fluency and years of practice, she still has days where she feels like an imposter, days when all her languages seem to fall apart in her head. Days when she feels clumsy and awkward in every single one of them. It's a reminder that language is a living, breathing thing, and it's not something you ever truly master in a fixed way. It's a constant effort, a dance between confidence and humility. So, my friends, I wanted to share Emma's story with you today, not to discourage you, but to offer a more complete picture of the polyglot experience. It is a beautiful process, filled with joy and discovery, but it also comes with its own unique set of challenges, and it's important to acknowledge them. Because in that acknowledgement, we find a deeper appreciation for the work we do, and a greater empathy for ourselves and others. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been a thought-provoking conversation. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to Polyglot Nook, it helps us a lot. Until next time, I send you all a big hug. Bye for now.